and you're Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So cancel culture. Cancel culture is a thing. The way you can know it's a thing is that people who really like it, who really like to use cancel culture, and they do it maliciously and disingenuously, I would say evilly. Their first line of defense against cancel culture is saying there is no such thing as cancel culture. Right? There is no. I remember one time, oh man, we had 3 dogs. It was a nightmare. Okay, this is a quick aside. I won't go on forever on this one. We went on vacation to Italy. Freaking incredible. Best vacation. Us and the family, me and the family went on vacation for Italy. We had one dog at the time, Snuggles. Lovely little Snuggles. Went into... This is going to tie into everything. We put him in a kennels in where was it? In Mizpeh, Jericho, like right on the desert of the desert by Jericho. Turns out this kennel, which got a great write-up in the newspaper, was awful. They would take the dogs walking without leashes, and they lost our dog. Right, we came back, the dog was gone. We were bereft. We were not a happy camper. So anyway, we went for a few days. Like, oh, we got to go get another dog. Okay, we can't. We had to go and get another. So we went. And we went to back to the same breeder. We went to a King Charles Spaniel. It was lovely. And they had dogs there, and they were brothers, and I didn't want to split them up. They were too cute. So we got both dogs. They were lovely, right? Absolutely lovely. Marco and Luca, we called them. So then 6 months goes by, and the original dog, Snuggles, who was missing, my niece found. It was being sold by Arabs in Jenin. And I was like, oh, man, do we have to buy the dog back? It was a lot of money as well. We had to put a ton of money into it, right? And we didn't even know it was the same dog. We thought he did, right? But then we heard, he'll be sold to go in a dog fighting ring. I'm like, no, okay, it's like $500 to get this freaking dog back. Anyway, so we got the dog back, and then we had 3 dogs, right? 3 dogs. And it was a nightmare, because that turned into a pack. It was an absolute freaking nightmare, more than we could deal with. So we were desperate to, we wanted to keep Snuggles, but we were desperate to get rid of the other 2 dogs and sell them on to someone. My youngest son at the time, he would have broken us. He couldn't do it, right? He couldn't do it. So my son, my older son, who was, it must be late teens at the time, said, you know what we should do? We should just get rid of the dogs and say they never existed. So my younger son, what dogs? What? I'm like, that's gonna mess him up, okay? That's gonna mess a human being up. You can't do that. So we did. It took about another 3 months before my younger son was said, we can't do this anymore. We found new homes for Marco, Luca. I hope they are well wherever they are. But it's the same kind of thing. That was their go-to defense against cancel culture. There is no such thing as cancel culture. No. And if you ask it, you're a bad person. So they tried to rebrand it as consequent culture. Interestingly, they're not so interested in having those consequences for exactly the same thing. They're not interested because they're on the right side of history, which means they are evil totalitarians. Anyway, so these I think it's a generational thing. I think this entire generation, I think a large portion of this generation really can't tell the difference between facts and opinions and belief and knowledge, and they just told everything they think is valid and good, and anything that makes you feel bad is wrong and evil, right? So they're not very nice people. So that's why they invented cancel culture. You know, it was last brought up in the Salem witch trials. They brought it back. Well, good for them. So it's invaded our little Doctor Who fandom, and amazingly, professionals treat it as something that's real. Big Finish, for example, they've certainly joined in on cancel culture against at least 2 people I know, James Dreyfus. I think, no, more than 2, but there's James Dreyfus, who we're going to be talking about today, and John Barrowman. I don't think it's disgusting. I think it's absolutely disgusting. It's like, I'm all for, if anybody's behaved badly in a way we as a society have deemed is unacceptable, they should receive the punishment for that. We as a society have not deemed it unacceptable for somebody when somebody is accused to have no jurisprudence, right? No jurisprudence, no defense, nothing whatsoever. Just his life has to be destroyed, and it's something. And then he can't do that. He can't work anymore. You know, that's the same thing. And the thing that really makes me crazy is they will never leave it up to the marketplace to decide if somebody's deplorable or not, right? They'll never do that. These companies hear people screaming on Twitter and they think it's real, and then they get scared. Or, as I think in Big Finish's case, they are one of the people screaming on Twitter. They completely align with them. I mean, look, it's breaking down now, right? The whole culture war, I think, is on its last legs now, because one side won the war, had complete control, and have destroyed the world. I mean, right? It's like, I mean, honestly, there's this guy who was in my comments yesterday, just in free fall, like, really believes things that aren't true. Like, I was talking about why I like the former president. I like Trump. I thought he was good. I found him entertaining. Whatever you are on him, and he brought up this thing saying, "Oh, he's clearly a racist, a dog whistle," and he brought up Charlottesville, right? Brought up Charlottesville, which they all do, because the media, and it's so insidious. The media en masse has said that this is proof that this man was a racist. Trump encouraged the racists. He was supported by racists. It's utter nonsense. The speech that he actively condemned white supremacy, like literally, and he specifically, not for the first time, immediately after the event, right? But they don't listen to that. They just listen to the part afterwards, when he said there were good people on both sides, which there were. It was a protest about monuments, which is what they was clearly talking about. But anyway, this guy has listened to CNN and believed it and believed it and believed it. And he wasn't irrational. That's the incredible thing. He was really like making sound irrational. I said, well, and I replied to him rationally. Said, look, that's not really the case. He did this, this, and this, and this. And he's like, and he just lost it, right? Just lost it. So yeah, that's really what's going on with the culture war. Everything they screamed for 4 years that the world's gonna terrible things are going to happen to the world because of Donald Trump. And that's really what everything goes back to, is Donald Trump made them all insane. They're all things and they were wrong about everything. Everything they said was going to happen didn't, right? Everything they said was going to happen didn't. And then everything they said was going to happen did as soon as Joe Biden became president. But yeah, I'm not going to go into this whole political thing, but like, that's really what's going on with the culture. That's why I think it's dying. I think because it's just the objective truth is that things are not very good, because everything they believe is not true, which is why we're seeing like this really bizarre behavior from the people who are proponents of it. Anyway, so a sign that this culture war may be ending is what this story, the story coming out. And the effects of it. The effects of it may be James Dreyfus has uncancelled himself. Let's wait and see, right? Let's wait and see. I do hope that's the case, and I will be very much supporting Big Finish if they do what they say they're going to do in this article. Fine! Nearly 10 minutes in. Can you hit the like button? Can you hit the share button? Can you hit the subscribe button? And if you're starting a YouTube channel, don't wait 10 minutes to ask people to do that. You're supposed to in the first minute or two. I screwed up, okay? I screwed up. These things happen. Fine. Like, share, subscribe, comment. All good things. Fine. Let's start over. Let's start with this article over here. Doink. Right, it was from the Daily Express. Oh my god, I had to get screen grabs because I can't open the screen because all these bloody ads appear freaking everywhere and you can't read the story. Honestly, when you have so many ads on the screen, you can't read the story. Maybe they're counterproductive. Listen, I don't want to tell you your business, but maybe it's counterproductive. Fine, let's read the story. Doctor Who felt stabbed in the back after cancel culture cowards erased him from role. I believe it. Listen, I went through a real life cancellation attempt a few months ago, and I literally had to go into hiding for 3 months. Right, it was bizarre, and I saw my neighbors basically turn it into totalitarian, turn it into fascist, indistinguishable from their the naughty National Socialists from the 1930s. I mean, it gets. If you ever see the Twilight episode, the monsters on I can't remember, about basically how people turn into monsters. when they become part of a mob. Thankfully, there was only a few people. It was less than it was a and they got egg all over their face. Now they feel stupid, which is why I'm not allowed to mention anything they did. I mean, really, I don't know. Wouldn't it be great if we could all live by the same rules? But anyway, cancel culture, it's not fun. Not fun. All right. So I felt stabbed in the back. Stabbed in the back. Man, did I feel stabbed in the back. Oh my god. The person who was running my cancellation was an official, a religious official in the neighborhood, who I had so supported. I'd even given about, I don't know, thousands of dollars, thousands of pounds to this person's salary that they could keep him. And while he wanted to cancel me, he still wanted to keep the money I gave him. Right? He didn't want to give that back. Stabbed in the back. Yeah, I relate, mate. I very much relate. Doctor Who fans will undoubtedly remember James Dreyfus after he was set to play the Master in a series of audiobooks. However, I don't think... Honestly, he wasn't that great, and I don't think it was a good idea bringing him in. They first brought him in, he was okay. The first David Bradley First Doctor stories on Big, which I like them. A lot of people don't. I like them. And then so that was pretty good. That was okay, but just unnecessary. There was then every story was then after that was less and less good, and it was shoehorned in until eventually it was in the Psychic Circus, which was a weird sequel or prequel that didn't really work at all to Greatest Show in the Galaxy, in which he was just shoehorned into that, and it just didn't work at all. Yeah. Other than that, I'm sure most people don't remember. Oh yeah. However, he's now claimed to GB News host Andrew Doyle about how cancel culture resulted in being erased, and that's really true. Erased from the sci-fi universe completely. Yeah, and I'm telling you, Big Finish shouldn't have nothing but shame for being part of this mob. Right? I don't know why they were part of this mob. Maybe they were forced by the BBC. I just get the feeling they seem to be on their side of the cultural aisle, the cancel culture mob side of the cultural aisle. They seem to like that side of the cultural aisle. I think it's starting to hurt them. I think their sales over the last years probably really tanking, because the quality of their product, I believe, has dropped considerably. It used to be a point where I thought it was unthinkable that there would be a Doctor Who story that, with the actors playing that I wouldn't listen to or see. Now I'm like, yeah, forget it. You burned me too many bloody times. Fine. James Dreyfus claimed to Andrew Doyle on his GB News show's Free Speech Nation. By the way, GB News is... I can't get a beat on it at all, right? It seemed like a good idea, but everything they seem to do seems to be going really bad. But it might just be me I have no beat on them whatsoever. Free Speech Nation about how he felt stabbed in the back to be erased from a series of Doctor Who audiobooks. According to James, speaking publicly in support of Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling after she was accused of transphobia for asking gay rights charity Stonewall for a public debate, resulted in the audio company cutting ties with the actor without a phone call. Yeah! I mean, really, it's one thing to be utter cowards and to... Which is what... Listen, if this is not what happened, Big Finish, I apologize, right? Unreservedly. I don't know what happened, but it appears you acted terribly, right? It's one thing to have the cowardice to go along with this mob, this disgraceful, disgusting mob. It's another thing not to have the balls to stand by your word and give him a call and just say what's going on, really. But it's disgraceful. I think honestly, I think that's worse, quite frankly. It's Stonewall, man. Stonewall are in a lot of trouble right now. Gay rights, please. I I think I don't have data. My guess is most gay people can't stand Stonewall because it's coming out who Stonewall are, and I think most gay people, and this is something that blows the mind of the people who are into cancel culture, right? Most gay people, I think, are actually people. And most people are quite sensible, really, and they're not intrinsically evil. Unlike people into cancel culture. Without a phone call was disgraceful, right? The conversation came after Andrew quizzed the actor on the idea that cancel culture isn't seen as real in the eyes of some. I don't know, where do they get this from, okay? The people who say cancel culture isn't real are the ones who will say you cannot hire this person or give them work in any way, shape, or form, otherwise we will not support you, right? Your business will be over. It's 100, like, I understand. How is that not real? Just consequence culture. If it's consequence culture, leave it up to the marketplace. But you know what? You don't want to see the consequences because they're not going to be what you want them to be, right? And that's essentially the bottom line. You just want to have complete control, right? You don't want to right, you don't want wrong, you want to support people, you just want control. That's all it's about. Andrew kicked off the discussion asking James about what about the idea of cancel culture. There's a lot of people out there that talk about how cancel culture is not real. I'd love them to substantiate that. Really, there aren't people who are losing work because of their opinions. Yes, of course there are. Well, okay. You know, I was talking to Dan from Type 40 podcast the other day. We forget recent times, right? Think back to 2019, right? We're talking about why I think the movie industry is over. Basically, we're talking about Dune, right? I thought the movie of Dune I saw the other day was very good, right? I really enjoyed it, but it stopped halfway through, right? I'm like, what? Where's the other half? And I think it was a disgrace that they haven't filmed 3 movies that did like Lord of the Rings and made it's just like the waste of it is utterly disgraceful. Because they're never going to be able to make a second one based on profit, and because they're never going to make the money back because the movie industry, I think so. So one of the reasons I think the movie industry is over because people just aren't feeling relaxed enough to go to the cinema. This is the thing. Think back to 2019, just a couple of years ago. Think back when you go out and there wouldn't be this angst all the time. You wouldn't see the work. Again, like the world is falling apart. And everybody feels it. Everybody feels the inflation. Everybody feels the supply chain issues. No, we've never seen supply chain issues before. Yeah, I'm over 50, right? In my lifetime, this has never happened before. This is unprecedented. You know, the fall of Afghanistan, no one's seen that before, right? It's never happened. And I think people just aren't feeling relaxed enough to go outside. Forget COVID. Forget all the lockdowns and everything going on with that. I just think there's no... people aren't calm enough to go to movies, right? But the thing is, I realized when I said it, I hadn't thought about what it was like to live in 2019. And yeah, it was noisy and people were freaking out. But you could breathe, and I don't get that feeling anymore, right? It's we live in wacky times, you know, and it does have a toll on people. So, but the point being, we forget, right? We really forget what it's like. And yeah, why is the comic book industry on its knees over, essentially? Because of cancel culture. Cancel culture ran anybody out of the industry, for the mainstream industry, who didn't share insane politics. Absolutely insane politics. They were canceled. But again, it's been about a year now since the Biden's been in power, and people forget how cancel thing was it, but it's winding down now. So yeah, look, say it's not real, please. People don't know, but I know for a fact you've experienced this, haven't you? Yes. It was to do with a Doctor Who role. Can you tell us? Because I don't think many people are aware of this. It's really interesting how this has been going on for a while. This is the thing that brings it out. It's really kind of incredible. Can you? I don't think many people are aware of this. Can tell you what happened. I guess people wouldn't be aware of James Dreyfus or him playing the Master on Doctor Who audios. James claims it's not a claim. I think this is verifiable.
Well, I was working for an audio company playing a rather significant part in it, and I signed a letter of support of J.K. Rowling and horrendous abuse that she'd been subjected to, right? Again, J.K. Rowling's point was having a vagina is kind of important to being a lady. We are, I think her position was that she's happy to accommodate a trans woman in any way they can. However, there's still got to be a space for, I don't know, I don't even know what the word I'm allowed to use. People born with vaginas, I think is the right word. I am basically female spaces are being destroyed. It's interesting actually. There's one person in my community, which is very it's like ultra orthodox religious, right? So it skews right wing. Not a fan of Biden. She had one supporter because she was very feminist and she really didn't like Trump. Trump rubbed her up the wrong way. I'm sorry I'm talking so much about this in this video, but this is the cause of everything, right? And like now she sees how women are being erased. Yeah, women's sports, women's spaces are being erased in the idea of trans women being women, and I think a lot of times there are women like to be with other women who don't have penises, right? I think that's really quite important to them. But yeah, that's what made her cancelled. It was bizarre, right? It was beyond bizarre. I also signed a letter asking Stonewall for a respectful debate on these matters. Well, yeah, Stonewall's really up for that sort of stuff, isn't it? Yeah, no, they never ever want debate. They again, the guy that in the comments I talked about earlier, who was like, still Trump deranged, right? He said, I guess you can believe what you believe. I guess you don't want to talk. I'm like, of course I want to. I'm happy to have a conversation. Here's the thing. I'm happy to talk about what I believe and why I believe it. Because there's reasons why I believe what I believe. Right? It's not just like, I feel it makes me feel good. Quite frankly, if I could believe that, Judaism wasn't real, like God didn't exist. If I could believe that rationally, my life would be a lot better. I miss shrimp, okay? I miss prawns. I miss bacon. All those things are good. Yeah, I miss shiksas. Let's be frank. No offense if you happen to be one, because you are awesome. Okay, I miss a lot of these things, but I believe God's real, right? I believe Judaism's real. I wish I could believe it wasn't, but I do, because I believe what I believe, because I have reasons to, because of objective reality. But no, they never ever. They always say, oh, you're not gonna want to talk. You're not gonna want to. I have no problem engaging with anybody about, and I'd love to talk to the atheists, by the way, about it. If you're an atheist and you don't understand how somebody who thinks themselves as reasonably intelligent and rational, I'm not going to say super, reasonably intelligent and rational, can also believe in God, get in contact. Totally get in contact. I'm happy to talk this out, and I don't need to convince you to believe what I believe, but I'm happy to lay it out for you. Why? And that, yeah, they do not want to have that conversation. Same with the cancel culture mob. They do not want to have that conversation. James Skinner Ginger, and then I got a raft of abuse from fans of this particular program. Yeah, the crazes that live on Twitter, right? Crazy that live on Twitter. I mean, really shocking amount. At some point, I thought I'm going to respond in kind, and I told several of them where to go. It's because the anonymity they feel of hiding behind an avatar, and basically the mob mentality. The mob mentality of it all is it makes people act badly, right? And they never ever want to take on. Having said that, though, I've met Nick Briggs. I've spoken with him. I like his work a lot. I just don't understand how he goes on. I can't ask him. Obviously, I just don't understand how on earth he went along with this. I just think there's a lot of people working Big Finish who are part of that cancel culture mob, who like cancel culture, right? Who are part of those insane Twitter. I mean, it mostly broke down because people see things in terms of alliances rather than right and wrong or friendship, right? They say, well, I ally with this person politically. They saw Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who being allying with them politically, and then when it turned out to be very bad. Right? It turned out to be very bad. If you said it, you were going against that political alliance, and so that they would vilify you. And again, these people are absolutely crazy. Donald, I sent a tweet to this company saying, "Forgive my response to these people, but I'm not going to sit here and be accused of saying I'm not." Okay. Fair enough. And they put out a statement saying, "We do not support transphobia in any way, in any shape or form." Thus, sort of saying to me, "We think he's transphobic." That was just terrible. Like, is it transphobia to say why you say of objective facts? Why are you behaving terribly? Right? I apparently that is right. Apparently it is. Dave Chappelle apparently thinks that has shown that's what transphobia is. To say, why can't you behave nicely? Right? Why are you being a hypocrite? Why are you being a liar? Why are you part of a hate mob? Right? It's like no, that's all. Transphobic. And GB News chipped it. I would argue based on nothing. Based on less than nothing. Right? Less than nothing. The former Sarah Jane Star replied, "Based on 2 letters I signed, and then I was erased from artwork on the CDs, and my name kept disappearing, and I called my agent and said, 'Can you find out what's going on? My name's being erased.' 3 phone calls over a period of time with them saying, 'Oh no, we're just doing this and that.' Yeah, I don't believe you. I finally called up with them and said, 'You've got to do something about this. Something weird is going on.' They've released a CD of all the people who played the part that I played, and there are quite a lot of them, the master, and I was left off." It was a bit noticeable, wasn't it? James then went on to claim it was because he signed the letter to Stonewall and the company. They had just erased me from the role, which was absolutely staggering. Yeah, look at it. This was masterful. A good release. They basically brought this kid in over here to replace him. It was disgrace. It was really genuinely disgraceful, right? It was disgrace. It was. I would say Big Finish is worse, man. I don't know. I mean, maybe getting rid of John Barrowman's what's it called, Absence Friend with David Tennant release, because again. Over 10 years ago, he used to get his dick out on set and waggle it around, and everybody would laugh, right? And nothing happened. Which it seems to be strange behavior. I think it's relatively normal behavior for somebody coming from theater. But if there was any, but there was no victim in that. Nobody complained. It was just, it was like, but no, they cancelled it. Yes, cancelled it. So then, yes, it's that sort. I was cancelled and erased from a job publicly for asking Stonewall for respecting debate. For context, I played the Master 2, erased, and I never rehired, no explanation. Yeah. And there was one recorded. And they never released, which really blew me away. He went and said, "It really didn't matter. I didn't know anything about Doctor Who, and it wasn't a high-paced job, but it was fun. What astonished me was not one phone call, not one letter, not one email. I just thought the cowardice is, and yeah, sheer cowardice, absolute sheer cowardice. I just felt stabbed in the back," he concluded. And I want to say, Big Finish, if that's not what happened, if you weren't cancelling him, why not make a phone call? It does. If anybody from Big Finish wants to come on and give a response, I will give you such open debate time, right? I'll let you speak, whatever. But it just seems you behave deplorably, and it's one of the reasons why I buy a lot less Big Finish now. Like a lot. Also, your product really has gone down the tubes. So then he said, a spokesman from Big Finish said, James Dreyfus features in Big Finish's upcoming audio drama, The Fourth Doctor Adventures series Solo, which will be released early next year. I wonder, was it always going to be that way, right? So let's go look at that page, right? Maybe it was. Maybe it always was, right? Or maybe they were going to re-record his dialogue and replace him. We don't know. And we're never going to, but maybe they were just shamed into it now. So this is the Fourth Doctor Adventures called Solo. There's 2 stories in it. Blood of the Time Lords, probably that one. And the Ravencliff Witch. So both of these were on there, were on the site before the before the this article came out, before this interview aired. So maybe they were going to uncancel him, or maybe they're going to replace him. I don't know. But it looked like they got a bit of egg on their face, and they've changed things. Maybe or maybe not. But here, let's have a quick read of these and see which one we can work out what it is, because they haven't announced it yet, even though they've announced it. So they should really put out something about it. A book known as the Discord Grimoire is an incredible, powerful tome believed capable of altering the true passage of time itself. The Doctor has it in the stars. Wanting to look into the mysterious opus further, he decides to take to an old friend, the rescue, a monastery-like retreat on the moon of Gallifrey. Does sound like the master will be in the song, but he's chosen an inauspicious time to arrive. Something else is visiting the rescue, and this something hasn't brought a book with it. But death is the master of something. And the Ravencliff Witch, the TARDIS lands in Ravencliff, a small town on the English coast. I mean, I think they record these things remotely, don't they? Or maybe this was recorded before then. I don't know, but maybe they're gonna cut. Maybe their plan was to cut him out and replace him. Maybe they're gonna replace him with what's it called again? Where is it? With this kid over here. Maybe. I don't know. Again, this is what happens when you live in shadows. You have no certainty, right? It could go either way on this. Second story in this set is the TARDIS lands in Ravencliff, a small town on the English coast that stands in the way of Shade, a newly built power station that just happens to be haunted. Every now and again, a spectral figure is glimpsed on the beach of Ravencliff Witch, and every time she appears, it's a prelude to disaster. The Doctor has to solve the mystery of her appearance. If he wants to prevent a catastrophe, he won't have to do it alone. He has the help of Margaret Hopwood, a renowned sculptor destined to play a big part in his life, Neresh Hughes. So it sounds like Blood of the Time Lords is the one he's going to be in. I wonder when it was recorded, right? I wonder when this was recorded, because he's been cancelled for a good few years. So yeah, listen, did he uncancel himself? I don't know. Maybe. Look, what does it look like to me? It looks like he was cancelled and Big Finish were embarrassed and they uncancelled him, right? That's what it looks like to me. Is it that? I don't know. Maybe it's something completely different. Maybe it's innocent. Maybe there's other stuff going on we don't know. All you know is what you see in here, the stuff that's in front of you. That's all you can really attest to. And we weren't there, so we don't know. But Big Finish, it looks very bad, and I think matched with the staggering drop in quality that your product has got. Which, by the way, I think the show Why the Last Man was cancelled after 7 episodes before it finished the first season. I understand that there's only women working on that show, right? They only hired women to work on the show, and people were complaining how bad a lot of the work was. This is not saying women are bad at their jobs, right? Like, oh, you got to work. No, but if you same thing with Big Finish, say exactly the same with Big Finish. If you hire on identities, particularly if you want to say, we need more women, and you're essentially hiring from 100% your authors or 100% your workers from a 30 to 40% pool. The only way to do that is to drop quality. The only way to do that, drop quality. We've seen that with Big Finish. You saw it with Why the Last Man. We see that everywhere, right? We see that everywhere. Hopefully, this insanity is burning itself out. Hopefully, the insanity is burning itself out because the world is on fire. Hopefully, that's going to be the silver lining in the cloud of the downfall of Western civilization. Other than that, it's all going to be peachy. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin. Do you want to Rabbi from another planet? Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.